Matt Murdock didn't actually defeat Wilson Fisk in the finale. He actually surpassed him, not in political power and certainly not in corruption, but in the one way that truly matters, and it's in sacrifice. Fisk spends his whole life taking. Matt Murdock just spent his entire future giving. This is the Southern Cross, and after this episode, the Daredevil we've known for 3 seasons on Netflix and 2 seasons of Born Again is officially dead. And this is the rebirth of a legend through the fires of a prison cell. So this is your boy Steve Hayes, and today we are breaking down the Daredevil Born Again season 2 finale. What an amazing season! What an amazing episode! I legit lost my mind. This is one of the best episodes of Marvel television I've ever seen. Probably the best episode of Marvel television ever. No episode in the Netflix Daredevil touches this episode. Nothing on Disney Plus touches this episode. Oh my gosh, this is nuts. But let's dive into this. So we open not with a hallway fight, but with a legal massacre. Karen Page is on trial, facing life for vigilante adjacent activities tied to Matt's war. The system, the one thing Matt Murdock spent his life defending, is currently being used as a way to choke out his family. Matt realizes that the law can't beat Fisk because Fisk is the architect of the current law. So Matt makes the ultimate move. He stops being the lawyer, he stops being the devil, and he becomes both. Taking the stand, Matt Murdock looks to the cameras and says the words that changed the MCU forever. I am Daredevil. No mask on, no CGI protection, no turning back. This is his I am Iron Man moment, but with a darker twist. He isn't doing it for glory. He's doing it to turn himself into admissible evidence. By admitting he's a vigilante, every piece of evidence he's gathered against Fisk suddenly becomes a first-hand eyewitness account. And he does win the case. Karen is freed, but Matt just handed the state a signed confession to his own crimes. But victory in a courtroom doesn't mean peace on the streets either. Outside the city is a pressure cooker. Bullseye takes a shot from a rooftop, aiming for Kingpin's head, but he misses, brutally hurting Kingpin's primary assistant instead. And this is really the crazy moment. You know, it's the spark that's been kind of brewing this whole entire season. And so, led by the legacy of Ben Urich through BB, the people of New York finally stop being victims. You know, citizens in red mask, the sons of the devil, storm the courthouse. This isn't random chaos, though. It's a systematic rejection. It's what happens when a city realizes its protector, aka Kingpin, is actually its parasite. And the narrative that Kingpin built of law and order collapses in real time as the red mask tear down the symbols of his administration. Now, then comes the moment that makes the heartbeat. Cole North. As the leader of the anti-vigilante task force, North was Wilson Fisk's ultimate hammer. But standing at those courthouse doors, North looks at the people, thinks about the monster and the suit, and he makes a choice. He opens the freaking doors and he lets the revolution in. And this is the official death of the AVTF. And when the system's own enforcer realizes that law and justice are no longer on the same side, then the Kingpin's power becomes an empty shell. And with the walls closing in, Fisk stops the mayor cosplay. He snaps, and in a brutal visual sequence, we see Kingpin return. He attacked protesters with a level of savagery we haven't seen since the corridor scene from season 1. No cameras to play for, no image to protect. This is Kingpin at his true core, a monster who only understands the language of the fist, and it proves Matt's core thesis. The Kingpin cannot change. He doesn't want to save the city. He wants to own it. And if he can't own it, he'll burn it. And they end up meeting in the center of the storm. This isn't their longest fight, but it's their most thematic. Matt has Kingpin on his knees. He could end it. You know, he could be the executioner that the city wants. But Matt Murdock chooses grace. He refuses to become a mirror of Kingpin. He offers him a deal instead of a funeral. And this defines Daredevil, a man who believes so much in the concept of redemption that he offers it to the man who killed his best friend. Now, the terms are absolute. First, you got to renounce your U.S. citizenship. Fisk loses his legal standing in the country he tried to buy. Second is perpetual exile. He has to leave New York, never to return. And third is total asset seizure. His empire is liquidated to pay for the damages he caused. And in exchange, no further charges. Why does Kingpin accept? Because for the first time, he is afraid. He sees the fire in the eyes of the city, and he realizes that survival is the only win he has left. And we see the final shot of Fisk. He's on a beach in a non-extradition country. He has his white suit, he has his wine, but he has nothing. No city to hear his name, no empire to command. He's just a fat man in a suit staring at an ocean that doesn't care about who he is. And in this is a fate worse than death for a man like Kingpin. It's irrelevance, which is what he lives for. Now, back in Hell's Kitchen, Matt and Karen share one quiet, beautiful moment of peace. And then the sirens. The police arrive not for Daredevil, but for Matt Murdock, because the truth does have a cost, and Matt is arrested for years of criminal vigilantism. And the season ends with a haunting image. Matt in an orange jumpsuit. He is led into a high security prison surrounded by the very criminals he put there, including former ABTF members who won his head. This now sets up the legendary Devil in the Cell Block D arc, where Matt Murdock is finally in the one place where a lawyer has no power. And in the final post credits, stinger, we cut to the Elias investigations, right? Luke Cage walks in to find Jessica Jones with their daughter Danielle. The message is clear. New York is without its devil. The streets are empty, and the defenders are coming back to fill the vacuum. And this means that the universe is expanding and the street level Avengers are finally reuniting to protect the city Matt Murdock just sacrificed his life to save. So the themes that we saw in this episode that was beautiful is number one, the cost of truth, right? Matt won, but he paid for it with his freedom. We also saw justice versus the system here. The law was the cage, but the truth was the key. And we also saw the ultimate sacrifice, right? Unlike Kingpin, who took power to save himself, Matt gave up his life to save the city. In this finale, guys, it changes everything. Matt Murdock didn't just risk his life at this time, he signed it away. He's trapped in hell and the Kingpin is gone, but the war is just entering a new phase. So the devil of Hell's Kitchen is behind bars, and who's going to keep the lights on while he's gone? Let me know in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of Daredevil Born Again Season 2 finale. What an amazing finale. I cannot wait for Season 3, but I hope you guys have a good night. Stay crispy and peace out.